Am I the asshole for having kicked my DIL out of my Thanksgiving meal after her vegan feast fiasco? My daughter, 21, lives with us while finishing college. My son, 27, lives in the same city and I babysit his children, 3 and 4, so we are bubbled. My sister, who drove 3 hours with her husband and son, 16, to come and see us, has been taking extra precautions prior to this event. Everyone was safe. DIL and I don't get along for many reasons I won't go into. She's also just one of those condescending people who thinks that constantly looks down on others, especially because of her veganism. Last Thanksgiving, she raised hell over me making a turkey, and claimed there weren't really any vegan options. There were. Last week, DIL contacts me on Facebook asking for the menu, and then telling me what will and won't work. She also sent me many replication recipes to make for her, with expensive specialty items in all of them. Many I didn't even know what they were. This annoyed me, because I had already made sure to give my son, her, and her kids vegan options for the day, but it wasn't good enough. I finally just told her to go pound sand, and that she could bring her own dish for her family if she'd be that picky. Thanksgiving happens. They arrive late with a ton of food dishes, parading them in, all with this vindictive grin on her face. Turns out, she, out of spite, took the exact menu, and made her own version of every single dish. Needless to say, I was livid, but I held my tongue. My sister and daughter in particular did try the food and enjoy it. Every time they complimented her, she would give me this look as she received her thanks, before tacking on something like, I just wanted to make a Thanksgiving meal that everyone could enjoy. The part where I finally snapped was at dessert. We have a family tradition where right before we sit down and say what we're thankful for. It's usually for family, or being able to gather. When at her turn, she got the same smug, vindictive grin on her face, and in the most condescending way, said, I'm thankful for starting the new tradition of a cruelty-free, inclusive Thanksgiving, and I hope it continues next year. Reddit, I saw red. I waited until my turn, and then said, as calmly as I could, that I was thankful that this would be the last Thanksgiving I'd be spending with her. It took them a moment to catch on, and soon enough nasty words were being exchanged on both sides. I finally kicked them out. I didn't think about it until this evening, when my son sent me a text telling me that he would not be letting his children come over until I personally apologized to his wife. He said that while he sees my side, she didn't mean it, and that I took it way too far by publicly embarrassing her, when she spent so much time making food for everyone. My husband is telling me I should just apologize, because it was rude of me and isn't worth it. He doesn't really get why it hurt me so much that she copied my meal to one-up me, and thinks the more food, the merrier. Am I the asshole here? Let me know. And #X2OOB. Edit for info. Word count is limiting. I absolutely had vegan options for them to begin with. I had an entree for them, plus some backup nuggets for the KDIS, a few side dishes, most were vegan with non-vegan add-ons, and a dessert that I made. She told me that those were fine, but the other entrees wouldn't work, and that I needed to make them all vegan. It wasn't a request to make something in particular, it was a demand that I redo everything. My son let it slip that she spent hundreds of dollars on the food to make what she did, and he seemed to blame me for that. Another note is that although the threat of the grandchildren hurts every time, it isn't the first time. Last time she made it 2 weeks and gave in, because they rely on the free child care 4 times a week while she's working. I did not literally tell her to go pound sand. That is an expression. I told her that was the menu, and it will not be changed, but she was welcome to bring her own dish for her family. Another edit. Wow. This really blew up. I have a mini update. I've spoken with my husband, and I've told him that I flat out feel unappreciated. I spent days making this meal, and for him, who watched me struggle, to blow it off as nothing was honestly hurtful. I additionally reminded him of the other issues we've had, and have informed that I'm no longer going to be taking this from her or my son. He is welcome to talk to them if he likes, but I, personally, am done. I am done being their free labor. I am done being her punching bag and power step. I am done just all around. We talked it a bit more, and he respects my choice and has apologized for his part in this. Next, I told my son that if he wants to continue to try and manipulate me with his grandchildren, then I think it's best we cut contact for a while, because I'm beyond hurt. I have explained my side to him in tears, and it was met with an, "I know, but," I just told him to stop. He gets free childcare. It's manipulative. He claims he isn't a part of it and it's just his wife and, I know how she is, but I'm realizing that he's actually a huge part of it for enabling. I've told him that I'm always there for his children, but that for now, I'd rather not have contact with them unless there's a dire emergency with no other options, or they both apologized, and that includes the consistent free labor. His response was that I was making it difficult, because his wife would be upset if he apologized to me. That solidified my decision, and I've cut contact. My daughter is aware of what is happening. She's taken my side on this. Please do not send me hate DMs about your personal opinion over me not being vegan. You will simply be reported and blocked. I will not be answering. I do not wish to have a conversation with you, especially in DMs, over veganism and whether or not it is better. Please respect that. Thank you.
Not the asshole. This is why people don't like vegans, the proselytizing, the smug attitude, the display of privilege through expensive items. She's a guest in your house, you tried to accommodate her dietary requirements but she went a step beyond and went full diva, then had the cheek to get on her moralistic high horse trying to preach. Good on you for sending him a clear message.
Not the asshole. I would have lost it too. She sounds absolutely exhausting. Anyone wanting you to apologize to her needs to go pound sand as well. If they're going to hold your grandchildren over your head to force you to bow to her, then they can go shove it.
I'm in the market for a new mother-in-law. My own is toxic AF. Can I interest you in adopting my husband? I know he is only vegetarian not vegan, but he is quite sweet. And our cats are very cute. Also I'm omnivore and don't care to argue about food if I don't have to cook as long as there is food for hubby. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. I'm vegetarian and I don't judge what other people put into their bodies. Your DIL is incredibly self-righteous and the prime example of why people are so turned off by vegetarian vegans. People forget I don't eat meat because I'm not such an asshole. When I'm invited, people are really nice and offer to make dishes and stuff, but if they don't, I always offer to bring food for me to eat. I don't impose my dietary restrictions on other people.
I didn't think about it until this evening, when my son sent me a text telling me that he would not be letting his children come over until I personally apologized to his wife. Good, no free childcare for those stuck-up jerks. Maybe they should have spent money on that instead of vegan dishes. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. There were options here. She could have talked to you about bringing the whole meal done vegan ahead of time. And then she went and spit your face about it. Sure, she might have spent a lot of time and money, but it wasn't for everyone. It was for herself and her pride and her ego. Even if she was sharing, it wasn't generosity. You could have said much worse. I feel like you caught the ball and threw it back. Sounds like she was trying to force it to do it her way in the future. I feel like that was your way of saying, nope. If that's how we're doing it, we're not doing anything. It might have been a low blow, but not asshole level to me.
Not the asshole. If she wanted a completely vegan menu, then she can offer to host. I wouldn't want to spend Thanksgiving with her either.
Not the asshole. She had the option to stay home and make her own Thanksgiving and didn't. She didn't need to be rude or rub it in your face, especially since you had made options for them.
Looks like her plan was to maneuver the extended family into vegan Thanksgivings, probably toward an endgame of converting everyone into full-time vegans. In the abstract, I can pass the value system where that seems like a moral imperative, but my heart is with you. DIL is a sanctimonious horrible guest. Not the asshole.
You're totally right, her behavior sucks here. Yes, she put a lot of time and effort into cooking all that food, but she just couldn't be cool about it. She went overboard, but you followed right over with her. In the heat of the moment, you lashed out. The way you write about it, it sounds like you enjoyed cutting her down. This sounds terrible, all around. Come on, you both acted like assholes. Was she a bigger asshole? Maybe. Does being a lesser asshole make you not an asshole? No.
Please do not send me hate DMs. You can disable DMs on Reddit. Go here, choose only trusted users, and then click save options. While you can't completely disable the ridiculous Reddit chat system, you can disable chat-related notifications. As far as your situation goes, you're not the asshole in my books, and I hope you stand your ground. Let them pay for childcare for a while and see how they like that. Edit on desktop and maybe with some mobile browsers. You can go to this page and disable both chat and private messages, aka PMs or DMs. Not the asshole. It is extremely rude to bring an entire new meal without permission. You tried to accommodate to her vegan diet, but that wasn't enough for her, so she decided to do something to spite you rather than communicate with you. This is also why people don't get along with a lot of vegans, because they think they have better morals and they have a smug attitude.
NTA, I have vegan friends and I make sure they have options, which you did. When they invite me over, I eat what they serve because I don't mind vegan and actually enjoy some options, but they would never dare to insist I make a vegan meal in my home for them. They also do shame me for eating meat and dairy. Side note, vegan chocolate pudding is amazing.
Who cares if she brought her own dishes to your dinner? If they were good, she can host next year. You can just do a turkey. Sure, she did it out of spite, but it sounds like you're both being dramatic and vindictive. Both of you used your Thanksgiving thanks to try and spite the other one, and guess who gets hurt by all this? Your grandkids. I'm sure they loved this tense Thanksgiving.
She sounds awful, but you escalated by going at her during the thankfulness speech. You are mostly in the right, but saying, "I'm thankful it's my last Thanksgiving with her," at the table is undeniably asshole behavior. I'm vegan, by the way.
Not the asshole, and I have to say, you saying that you are thankful that it would be the last Thanksgiving you spend with her is freaking epic, lol. That said, I understand how she would want dishes that she could eat, and bringing her own, as you told her to do, is perfectly fine. Her being smug about it is horrible, and them now using their children as pawns in this argument is disgusting. Apologize if you want to, for the grandchildren, but her holier-than-thou attitude has got to go.
Definitely not the asshole. I'm also wondering, if you're watching her kids 3 to 4 times a week, does she provide all the food they eat? If she won't eat anything you make but will allow her children to eat at your home, then this all seems like a power trip on her part and not an actual concern about the food being vegan. In any case, it's absolutely unacceptable for her to be so disrespectful to you, especially in your own home. And I'm sorry, but your son is being deliberately obtuse to her disrespect. I understand he wants to avoid a conflict, but he watched her spend all that money to cook an entire meal. He knew darn well that was a meal made out of spite.
Not the asshole. Vegans like her make all vegans look bad. A vegan who wasn't insane would just ask, "Do you mind if I bring a few dishes that are vegan friendly?" and not make such a dog and pony show out of it, nor demand that their host customize every single dish to their dietary preferences. I don't think your son is the asshole for standing by his wife, since that's what spouses are supposed to do. But DIL is demanding gratitude for something she was never asked to do in the first place. She was making an obnoxious point, and she knew it. Between that and withholding the grandkids, she sounds hella manipulative. You're going to have to figure out some way to work this out, though, since she's the mother of your grandchildren and therefore not going anywhere. I wish you luck.
TBH, it genuinely sounds like you and your daughter-in-law have a mutual enmity and neither of you would take credit for being the root cause of it. You all kind of acted like assholes, yeah, but was it a unique outpouring of assholery? Doesn't sound like it. Edited to add. The longer I think about this, the more it sounds absolutely certain that you guys have a toxic dynamic. She didn't just wake up one day and decide to cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner just to kiss you off in a vacuum for no reason. So,
you're telling your side of the story. I am pretty sure that the DIL will have things to say, e.g. things you say or do that hurt her. It's pretty clear you don't like her and you are letting her feel it. The vindictive grin, maybe in your imagination just as much as she probably sees you the same way. The two of you need to talk it out for 1H without your husband and son in the room.
She is a vegan from hell, did malicious compliance and was very petty. I am convinced that she is rivaling you. The problem is that you made it about a fight for praise. You probably said exactly what she wanted when you snapped.
Not the asshole. It wasn't really public, plus I am betting he didn't ask her to apologize. This actually gave me a good laugh. Perfect comeback.
What were the options you made for her last year or that you were going to have for her this year? Curious because I know that sometimes if most people at an event aren't vegan, most of the food tends to not be vegan and often it's pretty limited.
Not the asshole. He said that while he sees my side, she didn't mean it, and that I took it way too far by publicly embarrassing her. When she spent so much time making food for everyone. She absolutely did mean it. She did everything your son is accusing you of doing to her. Nobody told her to make that much food. She tried to embarrass and one-up you. Incredibly tacky behavior from a guest and evidenced by the little comments throughout the evening. I can't even imagine showing up at a host's home with a whole second meal made and make comments that imply the host's meal was inadequate. How freaking ungrateful. On Thanksgiving no less. She should have just stayed home and had her own little vegan dinner there if she felt so strongly, rather than doing what she did. AITA. You obviously hate your DIL and interpret everything she does in the worst way you can. It does not help that your DIL does not understand that she can be vegan, yet keep her opinion to herself about what others eat. She, out of spite, took the exact menu, and made her own version of every single dish. Knowing she was going someplace with few options, she prepared food she and her family could eat. Which you actually friggin' say is okay in one of your sentences. Also, smug vindictive grin, can be called. She politely smiled.
So his wife spent hundreds of dollars on the food she made, because Op refused to make it. So in addition to free childcare she wants free catering too. Not the asshole. Was it mean to embarrass her publicly? Yeah, but she boarded that petty train when she paraded her own whole-ass meal into someone else's house and made shitty comments. That's like smacking someone in the face and getting pissed when they return the favor. Honestly, the biggest asshole award goes to OP's son, husband and the people apparently DMing Op about veganism.
Not the asshole. God, could she be any more self-righteous?
You literally told her to make her own food, and she did. She was also being asshole about it, though, so she isn't good either. I'm sure there are plenty of other things going on, but in this specific situation,
Not the asshole, your DIL can go pound sand.
Not the asshole. Where is the all-inclusiveness of her meal when it was clear that it was meant to spite you? She did a good job of spiting you. I'm surprised you invited her this year. Please don't apologize, you did nothing wrong.
Not the asshole, she was incredibly rude in your home. I wouldn't be spending another Thanksgiving with her either.
Not the asshole. Self-righteous vegans are the ones that everyone hates. She doesn't want to be hated, she can stop being self-righteous. Also, your son is weak. She meant it, he knows it, but he's too weak to fight it.
What's with all the vegan stories on here lately? Not the asshole. Speaking as a vegan, is it reasonable to ask that there be something for you to eat at a family meal? Yes, it is. Is it reasonable to lay out the menu you expect to be served? No, it is not.
Not the asshole, she is the definition of insufferable.
Everyone sucks here because you said, in front of the entire family, that you'd be thankful to not have Thanksgiving with her again. You said that in front of her kids. You taught kids how to be spiteful and their mother taught them how to be a smug vegan. She was spiteful and so were you. Not giving you a pat on the back with a not the asshole vote. The poor grandkids in the middle of petty adults fighting.
Not the asshole, what she's doing is forcing you into a power struggle. If you apologize now, then she'll always hold your grandkids over your head, thinking it'll keep you in line with her demands. The thing is, she doesn't understand that you're doing her the favor looking after your grandkids so she can work. By the way, I love your response to what she did.
You have stated that you don't like her prior to telling the story, so that makes me doubt all of grins and smirks. But hey, I would like to have a proper Thanksgiving dinner for my family, not only a side dish and nuggets for the kids. You are one family and should be able to compromise to a certain extent, both her and you. But you declined to add something to family dinner, so she brought everything with her and you were not happy with that, but you were the very one who literally told her to do that. Not the asshole. Look, I personally don't like gravy, not a fan, not gonna put it on my turkey, but the presence of a gravy boat does not exclude me from the meal. She was not okay with just having vegan foods made available to her. She did not want you to have non-vegan foods, and that makes her the asshole. Not the asshole, and your son sucks majorly for threatening to keep your grandchildren away from you. What the fuck is that even? If you don't apologize, I will not make use of the free childcare you provide to us 4 days a week. Once they come crawling back to you asking you to help take care of their children, and they will, I am sure, I'd tell them in no unclear terms that you will only continue to help them out after DIL has apologized for her behavior. Not the asshole. She was trolling you and didn't expect you to call her on it publicly. And threatening access to the grandkids is, unfortunately, a pretty classic move for people like this. Rise above it. She knows the thought of losing your grandchildren is unbearable and she'll use your own love against you. But she seems like a weak-willed childish brat, and I doubt she would actually follow through on any threat of separating you from your grandkids. Keep strong. You did nothing wrong. Her food might be cruelty-free, but her behavior sure isn't. I'm sorry she ruined your Thanksgiving. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Why doesn't she host if she wants a fully vegan menu? You don't come into someone's house and act like that. And she doesn't get to force her dietary choices on you. She could have told you ahead of time, hey, I'd like to make some vegan dishes and bring them along. Can we collaborate on the menu? The way she went about it, she is the asshole at every step.
Not the asshole. And send this link to your son. He needs to see that it's not just his family who thinks his wife was dead wrong in this situation.
Not the asshole. Like it's not stressful enough hosting Thanksgiving. Maybe it would just be better to not get together for food-centered events. They can eat how they want and so can you. Your DIL was trying to trump you and she just made herself look like a jerk. She can stay home with her family and be smug about her food choices and you can stop knocking yourself out trying to please everyone.
When you kick someone out of your life, do it properly and don't look back. Either be the doormat or be the door. Try to be both and you'll be a joke on top of it all. You will never be respected by anyone if you let yourself be their doormat. Not ever. Not the asshole.
Unpopular opinion probably, but you are the asshole. It seems from your post that you always view her as condescending and vindictive and trying to one-up you. Are you sure you're not reading into this? I would say everyone sucks here, but to me that Thanksgiving speech by you was over the top mean. Your son just wants the misery to end, lol.
NTA